It looks like as we go to record, the shutdown is finally coming to an end. Some Senate Democrats reached a deal with the GOP leaders, giving them enough votes to break the Senate filibuster and bringing us a step closer to ending the government shutdown. It's now moving to the House. The shutdown that the Democrats blamed on the Republicans and Trump. And yet now that the Democrats caved without getting anything, pundits at late night hosts are freaking out and having meltdowns, and they're furious that the Democrats caved.
So yes, the shutdown may have been long and painful for millions of Americans, but at least it achieved jack squat. They say, why can't you all just work together to address the problems that are facing this country? Because the country is being run by insane people.
So at least they admit it was the Democrats inflicting all of this suffering. I love the Schrodinger shutdown where it's like, oh, this is Trump and the Republicans. And then the minute it ends, they're like, we ended this too soon and we got nothing. You're like, well, which one fucking is it? Do you take responsibility for doing this and holding the whole country hostage so that you can win elections and get your way? Or is it the Republicans who are mean and doing this? I loathe shutdown politics. I don't even know where they came from. I don't even understand them, frankly. How can you just use the government as a political pawn and all the people that work for it? Democrats couldn't even pretend that this wasn't about winning the elections. So Senate Democrats caved on the shutdown and made people poor and miserable before the elections. They didn't even try to hide it. They could have at least faked a fight for a few weeks. Instead, they went, yay, Mamdani's the mayor now, let's go. And then they opened things up. I do think the beginning of the end of the government shutdown is really all about flying. You know what my solution to end the shutdown would have been? Ground all the private jets and watch how quickly that shit comes to an end. It would have been an agreement immediately in Congress. People aren't eating? Who cares? As soon as holiday flights were threatened, it became a crisis.
People will die.
Americans are so funny. They're like, I don't care if people are starving, but my flight better get to fucking Tulsa or I'm pissed. I do find it interesting because it gets to a point where you can start feeling the agitation from everybody. And both parties rely on those kind of factory setting voters and think that they will blame the other side, which they usually will. But Americans do get to a point where they just start saying, I hate all of you. You're cool. I don't care who's to blame. Any kid of divorce knows this. At first you pick sides and you go with whatever parent you think will give you the most. And then you realize that both parents are kind of in their own head and they somewhat suck. And then you just want someone to feed you. You're like, I don't care if mom cheated on you. I just need to get to fucking soccer practice. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear whose fault the end of this marriage is. Right now, Americans are all just children in a divorce where we're like, shut up, stop fighting. I need to go to school.
Are you driving me to...
Yes. What time?
All of our leaders are out of touch on the economy. This is the problem. And here's what I've learned in my years of having 82 cents in my bank account, an actual screenshot fact I can prove, and something rich guys I used to date would love jerking off to. It's easy to fake being rich. It's impossible to fake being poor. You just can't. You don't know it unless you know it. It's like going to Burning Man. And it's always like right when I'm starting to be like, fucking Trump. Like what? I don't regret. Listen, no one will ever convince me that he's worse than Kamala. Not in 10 million years. But I do worry that, Trump starts getting very Trumpian. He's also a silent generation bordering on boomer. And they're just very out of touch when it comes to the economy. And I'm like, he's going to screw the pooch. He's going to f this up. He had this mandate, he ran on populism, and he's now doubling down on stupid boomer economy takes and gaslighting young Americans about their financial insecurity and the feeling that they can't ever get ahead. He's a fucking madman. We know this. He's our madman, but he's falling asleep in meetings. We'll get to that. He's turning the White House into the freaking Taj Mahal, draping everything in gold. He's completely out of touch when it comes to normies and what they can afford. He's going to try and rename it the Gold House. I'm convinced of this now. I am convinced. He's going to be like, it's called the Gold House now. The White House? That's racist. It's the Gold House. Don't you want to change it to something not racist, America? Mark my words. Mark my words. Speaking of being out of touch with the average American and how they feel, Trump recently doubled down on his bad boomer economy takes of gaslighting Americans about how they feel in these Laura Ingraham interviews that he did. And he was like, what's the big deal? What's a 50-year mortgage? What? It's just an extra 10 years. And she was like, yeah, it's not 10 years. It's 30. And now there's all these memes going around that's like, it's an 80-year mortgage. What does it cost?
$10?
I've been around rich people talking about health insurance, and they have no idea what the difference between an HMO and a PPO is, because they've been rich for so long and they've had boutique healthcare and they literally have no idea. And I'm always like, never admit this in public. Okay? At least pretend you know something about what it's like to be a poor, but they really don't. And by the way, people in the comments were like, grocery prices aren't going up. They are. It's called the Consumer Price Index. Go look it up. It's actually true. They're going up. And maybe not eggs. Maybe eggs came down because all the birds that they called have been repopulated in our lab-grown horrific ways that we get our food. But just because eggs came down doesn't mean other things went up. And maybe I particularly feel this because in my family, we live on a solid diet of coffee, bananas, and meat. And that is 3 of the things that have gone up the most. So maybe I have a little bit of a bias. But I also don't believe that all these guys in my comments are the ones in the grocery store doing the shopping, not to be sexist. All right. And then, right when I'm getting mad about Trump's boomerism, something like this BBC story comes out and they get me back.
Gotcha, bitch.
Some people are like, what's the big deal, Bridget? What's the big deal? Who cares if BBC did this tiny little edit or made this error? I have family members who think a seditionist is president. I have people out of the country who will not visit America because of January 6th. It is crazy to me that you think that this kind of malicious editing of video, doctoring videos, is not a big deal when it comes to how we are presenting something as important as January 6th. Am I crazy?
No, it's absolutely true.
And here's what I know about Americans. We will put up with a lot of bullshit from our elected officials, even self-enriching themselves in the stock market while they hold office. As long as our flight where we're sitting between 2 morbidly obese people is running somewhat on time, and by somewhat I mean within 2 or 3 hours. We are in this agreement with our leaders that you can be pieces of shit who don't care about us at all, who will gamble with our suffering and our food supply and with all of these things as long as we still get some of those conveniences like, flying. We live in a shithole country. For all the talk about shithole countries, what is more shithole than these planes not even being able to take off? And it's bananas. And Americans will put up with so much, but then they reach the end.
I was talking to my parents about my holiday flights, and they were worried the whole flight issue wouldn't be resolved by then. And I was like, there will be riots if this is not resolved by the holidays.
Maggie, there's not going to be riots. People only riot when drug addicts get killed by the police.
What did she say?
That is the only time, apparently, people riot.